It's the invocation. God, please stand.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight a grateful people. We're thankful for our country, our state, and our county. We ask for your guidance for all of our public servants throughout the country, especially tonight. And we ask for your protection for our military who stand on guard and all of our public safety officials. We ask all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Okay, Bill, if you'll lead us in the pledge.
Veterans stand salute, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Thank you. You may be seated. There should have been three sets of minutes from call meeting. One was on December the 7th, one was December the 17th, and one was December the 28th. And I'm going to hereby approve those minutes as presented to you. We've got several items to go over. Most of them are not all very long, but it will take a few minutes to get through this. First one's adoption. Hereby adopt the personnel policies and procedures for Union County government employees. This policy went into effect on January the 1st, 2021. All employees have received a copy. It is fairly long, but it is, anyone wants to get one, you can see Jennifer when we're over, or you can come by the office tomorrow and get a copy, because it's a pretty extensive thing. We've been, our staff's been working on it a long time, but trying to get it updated since it was only about probably 30 years old since we've updated it. So it was due. Item 2 is an agreement. I hereby accept this agreement renewal with a correctional resources group for the food service provided to inmates at the Union County Jail. The contract effective date is January the 2nd, 2021 through December the 31st, 2021. There is no cost increase from fiscal year 2020, which we are thankful for. If the jail food was made out of 2x4s, we'd have a big increase. Anybody doing any building, they know how much 2x4s have gone up. Thank goodness food hasn't gone up that much, so we're able to keep ours the same. And always proud to have that. Item 3 is another agreement. I hereby accept this agreement between Rushton and Company and Union County to perform the 2020 audit of the Union County financial statements. The cost of this agreement will not exceed $59,000. This is the same company that has completed our audit for the past few years. And they've already made their first 2-day visit, and they'll be coming periodically. But because of COVID, they're being careful about how they do things too. So it's an interesting time everywhere you turn. Item 4 is an agreement. I hereby accept this agreement between Union County and Legacy Link for the required local share during fiscal year 2021 in the amount of $95,000. This is the amount Union County has committed in local funds to help operate the senior center from July the 1st, 2020 to June the 30th, 2021. And Legacy Link is out of Gainesville, and they're the federal recipient that takes the money and then passes it down to different counties and different facilities. Item 5 is an agreement. I hereby accept this agreement between Cummins Incorporated and Union County for a planned maintenance of the generator located at the Union County 911 Center in the amount of $1,151.02. This contract is effective from November the 1st, 2020 to October the 31st, 2021 and covers one maintenance inspection and one full maintenance service during the agreement period. Item 6 is an agreement. I hereby accept this statewide mutual aid and assistance agreement between Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency, that's GEMA NHS, and Union County. The purpose of this agreement is to provide the framework to support mutual assistance in managing an emergency or disaster occurring within any political subdivision that is a participating party, whether arising from a natural disaster, a technological hazard, a human-caused disaster, a civil emergency, community disorders, insurgency, enemy attacks, set of terrorism, or other significant events, or Homeland Security activity. Items 7 through 17, and some of y'all that normally don't come to a meeting, these are business licenses, and the only business license we have in the county is for rental units. And that's so that we can get the rental tax on those people that rent the units. And this allows us to keep up with it. So, and this is a whole lot more than we've ever had. I think some of it's just because that COVID's delayed it just a little bit. The employer who used to handle this left the job and processing business license apps was given to a new receptionist from my office. So there was a short training period, so that's why we got some extra ones this time. So I hereby approve the following approved rental units. 322 Litton Lane LLC, Trip Rental. It's interesting the names they have, but it's up to them. Second Phase Investment and Services, Pony Pasture LLC, Gregory Cook Rental, Davis Rental, Three Splits Farm, SPLITZ, and Chenard Rental, Dietrich Rental, 171 Millie Circle LLC, and Creekside Cottages. Good luck in trying to find all those. We would put the address in different places, but we just ran out of time. We weren't sure we had it for all of them. I hereby accept this contract number 18. I hereby accept this contract between Roof Management Incorporated and Union County for the roof replacement at the Union County Jail and the Sheriff's Office in the amount of $215,500. This contract has an effective date of December the 28th, 2020, when the contract was let. And they're close, we hope and think, to starting to work on that contract. It's a tough one when those things come about, but they periodically they're going to, so just have to live with it. Item 19 is a contract. I hereby accept this contract between Winkler and Winkler in Union County for the View Grill expansion project at the Union County Community Center in the amount of $330,370. This contract has an effective date of January the 14th, 2021. The purpose of this expansion is to enclose part of the outdoor seating area as the use of the facility has outpaced available seating. Item 20 is a resolution R 2021-01, and I don't know if some of y'all have that or none of you have it. We thought we had some printed. You got them? Okay, so right after the meeting, just put them back there on the table and they can pick one up as they leave. This is the resolution regarding the Second Amendment. A resolution of the sole Commissioner of Union County for the purpose of supporting the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. Whereas the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution states, in part, that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed on. And whereas the Georgia Constitution of 1983 states in Article 1, Section 1, Paragraph 8, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, but the General Assembly shall have power to prescribe the manner in which arms may be borne. And whereas the right of citizens to bear arms, as stated in both the United States Constitution and the Georgia Constitution, is a fundamental right that should be protected to the greatest degree possible. Whereas the Commissioner and the Sheriff of Union County wish, by adopting this resolution, to express their support for the right of the citizens under the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution and Article 1, Section 1, Paragraph 8 of the Georgia Constitution, and urge the Governor and the members of the General Assembly to take no action which would violate the freedoms guaranteed in both constitutions. Now therefore be it resolved, by the virtue of the authority vested in the Commissioner of Union County and the Sheriff of Union County, that they hereby express their strong support for the rights of citizens under the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. And they further call upon the Governor and members of the General Assembly to ensure any legislation adopted now or in the future respects and supports these rights of all the citizens. So be it resolved this 21st day of January 2021. I'll make just a few other comments about it. I was requested to adopt this resolution because of existing issues with the proposed gun range under the final design. The Sheriff asked me to wait until we had approval of our gun range application. However, after it has taken longer for the approval than anticipated, the Sheriff told me it was okay to go ahead and adopt the resolution. And I told him I thought we needed to as well. During the primary election, the Republican Party placed a request to the county to adopt something regarding the Second Amendment. I think it was approved. I didn't have time to get these numbers, but I think it was voted on by the Republican Party for around 90%. Plus, there's already a little over 80% of the county that is Republican anyway. So it's a vast majority of the county felt like we needed something on the Second Amendment. Therefore, I think it is appropriate to pass this resolution. In addition, I've had someone come to me recently after the election, and this is just the other day's election, and asked me what we would do if the government came to start taking our guns away. I told him, I said, just relax. I said, nobody is going to come take your guns away. Now, they may start putting new guidelines on, I don't know what they might do, whether it be ammunition or whether it would be safety devices of guns. They may not do anything. But the one thing they can't do is go back retroactively and take your guns away. So getting that word out there to scare people like that, it's not going to happen. And I think it's promoted by some of the groups that are trying to raise money through that. But I've got as many guns as probably most of y'all in here. I'm sure there's a few of you can go way above me, but and I had some of them for a very long time, including one my dad, Model 12 Winchester my dad gave me when I was 12 years old. So there's a lot of.
Can I borrow it?
So the fact that you got to worry because there's been a change of administration in getting our guns is not going to happen. And if something comes up and it does, y'all just come down here and grab hold of me and hang me on rail somewhere. So you told us this wasn't gonna happen.
Okay.
But I think everybody will fight for that right, so, and I'm certainly included in that. And then the last item, well, almost the last, Resolution 2021-02. I hereby approve this resolution to set the alcohol license fee schedule. The cost of the full background checks for applicants will be increasing from $67.50 to $72.50. The cost for alcohol beverage permits for employees will be increasing from $35 to $37. And the renewal of the alcohol beverage permit for employees will be increasing from $15 to $16. These increases are due to an increase from the state for the state background checks, so that we're breaking even. This was all approved and requested by the alcohol board. 22. This has been there a while, but I hereby accept Farmers Market Way, 0.33 miles into the Union County Maintenance Road System. So about this time of year, GDOT, Georgia Transportation, comes around and wants to know our road mileage, and so we got to go back and get figured all in, because we get money based on that mileage. So we've done the new entrance into the farmers market that goes in from the Gooch bypass and into the covered bridge, and like I said, it's 0.33 miles, and so we're hereby approving that into the road system. And also across the highway is a new road. It goes up to the Sears store and to the Tractor Supply. So I hereby accept, that's called Market View Connector, 0.095 miles into the Union County road system. Item 24 is an adjournment. So I'm going to officially adjourn the meeting, and she can turn the camera off. But I want to mention a couple of things to you before I open it up for you guys to have comments or questions, anything you want to say. One of the things I want to do is I want to welcome State Representative Stan Gunner. He couldn't be here because they're in Atlanta in the legislature. But we're so proud that Stan won the election, and it's going to be, we think, a really good member to represent Union County. He and all legislators are going to be extremely busy at the Capitol this time. But we're thankful to have him and Senator Gooch looking after all of the county's best interests. And they are really good to work with us and call us if there's something going on that they think it impacts us. They call and let us know, and it's really encouraging to be able to work with them. And the other thing I want to talk about is vaccines. So just for drill, how many have had a vaccine? At least one. Raise your hand. Not many. Okay, I'm going to do another one. If y'all don't want to tell this, divulge this information, you don't have to. How many are over 65? 65 or older? Okay. Let's write that down, get a picture of this. Let's see, but so what we're trying to do in the county-wise, and if you go by if you try to get on the list to get a vaccine, number one, it's the most frustrating thing in the world. All that is done through the Department of Public Health out of the state, and it's subbed out of the Gainesville office. But then our local office, Public Health Department, as we call it, they're the ones that have to do the grunt work and have to actually give the shots. Well, they're only giving them about 50, 60, sometimes 80 shots a day, and they're trying to do all the retirement villages, nursing homes, everything that, most of our personnel who are public safety, they've already been given the opportunity to get the shot. So now that they've opened it up to 65 years and older, we realize that it's going to take months and months to get these shots out at the rate they're going. And so David Dyer, Chief Dyer with our fire department, and his crew have gotten with the public health people here in Blairsville, and we've set up the new sports center on Gooch Bypass, the double gym there. We set that up as a mass vaccination site. And we're going to experiment with it. I say experiment, not with the shots, or not with your bodies, but we're experimenting with the logistics of making it all work. So it's going to be open tomorrow from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the evening. And besides the two people at the senior center that usually give the shots, we're going to have, I think, 6 or 8 more people that are going to be certified. Because even if you've given shots all your life, you can't come up and give them. You got to be certified by the public health. So you got to go through an online exam and get that done. But we've got that ready, and then the next thing is we can't tell you when you're going to be able to get the shot. We're just going to the state, to the Gainesville office, and saying, give us as many shots as you can. And they'll let us know, well, we think we can do another 100 this week. And so then you have the county on our website. There's a place, if you go on the website, and there's a place to mark to get a schedule. And so about every day, 2 or 3 times, if you want a shot and haven't had a shot, you should get on that website, because every day that they give us more vaccines, that opens up more slots. We started out this week with 150, and we're now up to 1,000. And we're really excited about that. If everything works right, we're going to be able to get 1,000 people vaccinated. And the way this thing, COVID, is flourishing and spreading throughout the county, and I know a lot of you surely have friends that have had it or gotten it or almost gotten it. I have several. And it's really trying and scary, and you don't know, there's no rhyme or reason about who gets it and who doesn't. I got all these friends that go to the Blairsville restaurant and eat every day, and not one of them wears a mask, and not one of them's got COVID. So I tell them all I can figure is it must be the food up there that's I didn't cleared them. But then on the other hand, you know, my barber just got it. He's in the hospital. I know you don't think I have a barber. He's been in the hospital this week. Those of you that know Doug Caldwell, he was in the hospital a few days. He's out now. And there's just a lot more that it really, and the ones that have it, you know, a lot of people say, well, it's not a big deal, it's like a bad case of the flu. But the ones that have had it and had the serious case of it, they will, you know, they won't fight you over it, but they almost will, because it is really tough. They not only do they have most of the symptoms, which include, you know, a headache, stomach ache. Some of them have stomach ache. Some of them have just body aches all over, all their joints. Sometimes they can hardly walk because all their joints are bad. It can be their head. One guy told me, he said, I can't remember like I did after I had it. There's a lot of remnants of once you get it. If you live through it, there's remnants that we don't know yet what all those are. We don't know how long it's going to take. Some of them get their taste and smell back pretty quick. Some of them still haven't gotten it back. So it's a serious thing, and we take it serious here at the county. And I urge you all to do the same thing. We're not going to get out here with a gun, one of these guns, extra guns you guys have got that you can give us. We're not going to get out here with a gun and start trying to force everybody into putting their mask on and doing the right thing, cleaning your hands. But I'm just telling you it's serious. In our hospital, I had a doctor yesterday that I talked with. He went to the hospital with a patient to have surgery on him. He got there about, I think he said about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning. And there were 2 ambulances parked outside the emergency room with COVID patients, one in each one of them. They'd been there 2 hours when he got there. They could not get into the emergency room because there were so many people in there that were hurting, and that were, some of them maybe even close to dying. And so they tried to, he went on and did his surgery, and about an hour and a half came out, and those 2 ambulances were still sitting there, still with the same patients in it. So you need to know if you get this, and if you get sick, and don't say you can't, because you can. I'm trying I'm trying to get across to everybody. I don't give a damn what people have told you or what, no politics about it. I don't care the numbers that they say. You know, there's all kind of things on the internet, you know, and saying, for example, one of them, we've got, how many, 100,000, 800,000 that have died? And he said, well, they cheat those numbers. Anybody that seems at least a little sick with anything, they're gonna give them, say it's COVID. Well, so if they do, what's the big deal? So if it's 800,000 or 600,000 people that's died with it, you know, or 1 million, you know, it's all bad. And if it's your family and your friends, I'm not trying to just scare everybody to death, but I just want you to use common sense and be cautious. And everybody that's worn a mask, it's help. Is it guaranteed that you're going to make it? No. Can you go without that mask and still be safe? No. Yes, you can. But if you get it, it's hell on wheels. And we don't want anybody to get that and go through that if they don't have to. And that's why our fire department, EMA, our health department, and we got 50 volunteers working tomorrow to help with food and help get people signed up, because about a 15-minute process to get signed up to take the shot. So they're all going to be over there. Even some of my employees are going to be working all day tomorrow working on this to try to get as many people 65 and over to get them the shot as quick as we can. And if we can do this in 4 consecutive weeks, we think we'll be close to getting the vast majority of the 65 and overs that want it to have that shot. And then they'll start going down to the younger folks. Maybe they'll get to me when they get down to the real young ones.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, just telling you that to be careful and be safe. And we don't want anything to happen to anybody in this county that we can help. And we're doing everything possible to get as many shots in here as is possible. And hopefully we'll have a good start tomorrow. And I just hope and pray that everything works great tomorrow and it goes right through and happens. Because you got the time to sign up for the shot, and then after you take it, you got to wait 15 minutes to make sure you don't have any reaction to it. So anyway, enough of that. I hope one of these meetings I'll be able to come in and just shout and say, that thing's gone. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Okay, at this time I'm going to take public comments and our questions. So if anyone wants to raise your hand and ask either or comment. Yes, sir.
Item 6, I got a few questions on it. Is this new, or if it isn't new, has the language changed from the year before?
The resolution?
Yeah, the statewide mutual aid and assistance agreement between GEMA and
I couldn't tell you, Chief Dyer, do you know if that's if they reworded it since all this stuff happened?
No, sir, it's pretty much the same thing that they do. It's a blanket sort of agreement throughout the state.
Okay, so it's consistent from last year?
Yes.
Yeah. I noticed it hit on a lot of points that we've been hearing in D.C., over this time, but that's what he said. It's still the same thing. They just use some of the definitions that we have. You said you had 2 questions?
Well, that was the 2.
Okay.
One wasn't new, and the other wasn't consistent for if it wasn't new.
Okay. Anybody else?
I have a question
Yes,
on the Second Amendment resolution. I noticed that you said state and local. Is it possible to protect us from the federal government? And is a sanctuary different than this resolution?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I noticed that in the resolution, when you read it, it was only state and local. Is it possible to protect us from the federal government and them coming in by being sanctuary? Is that different than the resolution?
That's different. We've got our thing's the state and the county, and we're trying to make it where we're protected. But if the federal government, for some reason, were to do something, that's through the federal government. But
We
the
can't
fact
protect
that we've got a
ourselves.
resolution still gives our sheriff the right to, if they decide they were going to come take our guns, the sheriff could meet them at the county line and say, you guys leave, you ain't coming in here.
Okay.
So
we are protected from the federal
I think
government.
we're protected.
Okay.
And I don't think anything like that's going to happen, but who knows? It's some strange things.
What is the definition of a sanctuary city? Because there are other cities within the United States that have declared that. So how's that different from where we're sitting here?
I can't answer that question, because what we did is get with several different counties that have adopted one, and we adopted it. But as far as me knowing the detail between a sanctuary city here and a sanctuary city somewhere else, I think every resolution that you'll see is a little different, but they all amount to the same thing, and they all have the same opportunity, the same weight, the same opportunity to work, but at the same time, anything like this is you're just letting the government know if they decide they want to do something that's not very smart against the Second Amendment, we're going to fight them on it. So that's about all that's about all you can do. Yes.
The question I had about the Second Amendment is, I agree, I don't think confiscation is going to be an issue, but or at least not on a mass scale, but the question I would see, or a possibility, very real possibility, is where they say, the federal government would say, this type of weapon is now illegal and you've got to turn it in, you can't have it. And if somebody in the county decided they weren't going to do that, are they subject to being arrested by anybody if they found they do have it, or are out at a range and shooting?
I think there again, I think the sheriff would be at the line and saying, hey, you can't come in here and do that, because we are in a Second Amendment and we believe in those rights. So an existing gun, if you got an AR, whatever the caliber is, my friend's got an AR-22, but I guess, what's the one with the larger caliber? AR-15? Yeah. So, they keep saying that they're going to outlaw those, but even if they outlaw them, they can't come back and pick up the ones that are already out there, which is millions and millions of them.
Well,
all they're going to do is promote the price of guns and ammunition, which is what they've done every time the rumor gets out there, because one legislator or somebody will get out and say, they're going to come take our guns and this is what's going to happen. But they got nothing's ever happened in how many years have they ever come to take a gun away from anybody? Never.
The reason is in history they have done it. In 1935 they banned out automatic weapons, and they did say, if you don't turn them in, we're going to take them away, and they did take them away. And now, if you find one in your attic, you have to get rid of it.
That's before my time.
I understand, but I'm saying
Thank goodness.
it has happened, and so.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I can't promise anything, but I feel perfectly comfortable that we're not going to have a problem, and it's not going to be a problem. And we've got a lot of counties that have adopted the same thing, or general, same kind of language. I'm not concerned. Yes.
I would say that, first I'd like to say I appreciate what you have done and what Sheriff Black has done to make this happen. And I'm sure everybody in this room, at least most in this room, would applaud you again for your efforts and your concerns for the citizens of Union County. The other thing I would say is that I believe, personal opinion, that this is a strong evidence to whoever might want to start encroaching on our constitutional rights, that there's more than 2 or 3 people in this area that believe in the Constitution of the United States and the state of Georgia. Having said that, that paperwork is only as good as it can stand up if the other person follows constitutional law. If they don't, then that's another case. When you were reading your statement, or your position, I did not hear the word sanctuary city. Is that in there somewhere, or say sanctuary county?
If it's not, it should be.
It wasn't in
I
there.
think
It was not in there.
it was not in there.
No.
Only, I mean, what you've spelled out in that was very clear and acceptable, but, the general thinking across the country is sanctuary, and it carries
It carries more weight. That dealt with my question about the federal.
condition without the need to understand the rest of the legalese. So if it's in there, that's fine, I was asleep. If it's not,
I didn't hear it.
then that's not.
That was why my first question was about the local, because it said only state and local. It was kind of like a, this is how we feel, gentlemen, please don't encroach on our rights kind of thing. Whereas a sanctuary says something totally different, at least the way I understand it. So that's why I asked that question, because a sanctuary would protect us federally, I thought, a little more than somebody just saying, this is what we believe, don't come in here looking to take our guns, we're gonna stop you.
Anyway, I bring that up in the event that you.
I appreciate you doing that. I didn't have a
If
thing
you
to
wanna
do,
review
sit up
it
here and read this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a place of refuge and protection.
Pardon me?
Sanctuary is a place of refuge and protection. So, yeah, it's.
Yeah, but it's not in that.
It's not in
It's
that.
not, it's
Right,
not
I
worded in there
know, I'm
like
just
that.
saying that that's fine.
Maybe we'll take that back to the drawing board, Mark.
I'll get somebody to look at that part. I'm not gonna go back and redo the whole thing, because you can,
You can do amendment, can't you?
Keith said he'll write it up for you.
I can make that amendment, but
Yeah, the
I mean, there's just a
next one
total
was
difference
the
in the two.
immunity
More good.
from law attached to a sanctuary. So it goes even further, the sanctuary.
people that wrote this and gave it to me, and the sheriff and I reviewed it, everybody thought that was exactly what we needed. But I will have somebody to review it again and see if that's makes a issue one way or the other. So,
That
Because again-
nonetheless doesn't alter our appreciation for
Right.
what you.
correct.
and the
Right, we
sheriff
do appreciate it very
Has
much.
done. I just,
And Mac has told us where he stands, but if we get a different sheriff and they don't feel the same way and they're not as strong, and they're not gonna meet him at the road, it could be different. So if it's in writing and it gives us that extra protection.
that's up to us to put that right type of sheriff in there.
That's
Well,
right.
That's right. That's
doesn't
right.
always turn out like you want with the voting.
Anyway, I will get somebody to look at this and review it, but I think in the meantime, we've got covered what we need to get covered, and if we need to put in the word sanctuary county, then that's something we amend it to put
Is
in.
that something that we can follow up on with you?
Yep.
Anybody but you is.
Any better than me?
Yeah, next week, not this week.
And what is the, where do we stand with the gun range? Are we really close?
Oh, God.
Oh,
Her question was, where do we stand with the gun range? And I have no idea. It's been the most frustrating thing I've ever dealt with. And we basically got the Department of Natural Resources that is paranoid that somebody up there is gonna sue them because there's noise or there's danger or something. And he has just been making every effort above and beyond the call of duty to try to appease everybody, and you can't appease
Right.
everybody. And so now that the elections happen and we got a change, we're gonna have a change there. You know, I'm concerned. Our push was to try to get it done before the election,
right.
and now we're after the election. And so I can't commit to that, but I'm still hoping. We're still pushing forward, and we're still hoping. But the whole idea was a sound study, and a company that did the sound study out of Florida, they delayed it, and then once they did it, then they still delayed giving us the final report. I don't think we've even got the final report yet, so we're working on it.
If we keep going on much longer, we can just fire them all out on that ridge and we ain't got to worry about it.
That's right.
Might be what it
So anyway, any other questions or comments? Thank y'all very. Oh, yes, sir.
I had our street sign stolen. Somebody, I guess, decided they wanted that sign with the name on it. About how long does it take to get one replaced?
To get a new sign,
New sign?
it shouldn't take more than 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
If you call,
I'll call again. I called about a week or so ago.
and he hasn't got it yet.
Not yet, no.
Okay, well, they should, unless they've had a bunch of, well, let me back up. I didn't mention this. We had, I think the road department guy told me we had 70-something signs stolen in the last 3 weeks. It's just
School.
crazy. He just said he's going nuts.
College.
They've been stealing them all over the county, and so we don't know. We're trying to follow it down and hope that there's somebody gonna seen somebody give them
Check
one.
the side company first.
Huh?
Check the guys that make the side company first.
We're pretty frustrated about that. But anyway, call my office tomorrow.
Okay.
And let us double check on it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just talk to Jennifer,
Tell me the
4396
road name.
6000.
What's the road name?
White Oaks Flats Road?
Okay.
And Booker Holler is probably the.
Yeah, well, they always get Booker Law.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of, and the worst thing this time, they got 3 of the big stop signs. And that's really dangerous, you know,
Yeah.
and just if somebody doesn't let you know in time, that's what we're really worried about more than the others. We're mad about them, but we're worried about somebody who get out there and steal stop signs.
What is the punishment if they get caught?
It can be up to the magistrate court, but they can go to jail.
Good.
And we caught some before in school,
Okay.
and we fined them, put them on probation and gave them some pretty serious fines, several $100s. And in fact, one group, it's been 10 years ago, I guess, a couple of them are going into service, and they were just out fiddling around playing, you know, and got caught. And luckily, the sheriff worked with them to where they could go on into service, and but it's all, I don't know what it is about signs,
But maybe putting something in the paper and saying that there is, you know, if they
Yeah,
get caught,
and we're-
kind of scare them to get the word out, maybe
Yeah.
it'll slow down or
yeah.
something.
So,
What you need to do is just put you up a little electric wire to the base of that.
we need somebody that's retired that could do that for us. That understands those kind of things. Okay, anybody else? Thank y'all very much for coming, we appreciate it, and thanks for continuing to support Union County, and anytime we're doing something you think's crazy, let us know. Even if it's not crazy, you can let us know, because I've been hearing plenty of it lately.
Hey, Barbara,